Datuk Seri Anwar Prabowo discuss next direction in bilateral relations. 8.9 billion ringgit development grants for each state. Salam Malaysia Madani, I'm SAHIH and you're watching Malaysia Tonight. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said his meeting with Indonesian President-elect and Defence Minister Prabowo Subianto today discussed, among others, the next direction to be taken to strengthen Malaysia-Indonesia ties. He said during the meeting at his office in Putrajaya, he and Prabowo also took the opportunity to share their experiences and exchange views on their political journeys. In a Facebook post, Datuk Seri Anwar said their political journeys are almost similar as they were both tested with various challenges before being appointed. Prabowo also shared his experience when he attended secondary school at Victoria Institution, Kuala Lumpur. While congratulating and wishing good luck to Prabowo, who is set to be inaugurated as the 8th President of Indonesia, Datuk Seri Anwar also expressed hope that the friendship between the two neighbouring countries would continue to be strong and strengthened for mutual benefit. The Premier said the meeting was part of Prabowo's itinerary during his special one-day visit to Malaysia. The Home Ministry has extended the deadline for the application for Visa with Reference (VDR) approval letter at the Immigration Department to 21st April from 31st March. Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said this extension will provide genuine employers with the opportunity to quickly settle the process of obtaining the approval letter.
Pelanjutan ini setelah kita mengambil kira satu jumlah kota aktif yang belum memohon VDR adalah sebanyak 132,000. Okey sekarang ni setakat kita tamat 31 Mac tu kita dapati 132,000. Dalam tempoh sebelum 31 Mac baru ni berlaku sedikit gangguan teknikal pada sistem. Ini berlaku pada 21, 22, 23, 27, 28 dan 29 Mac. Tapi sekarang sistem tu kembali stable.
Speaking at a press conference in Putrajaya, Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution said this extension will also benefit employers, especially in critical sectors such as plantation. In this regard, he said employers are urged to make the best use of the extension period, and this reminder is crucial to avoid high traffic in the system at the last minute as recently experienced. However, he said the deadline for the entry of foreign workers in the formal sector remains as 31st May, in line with market sentiments that require immediate labour to avoid delayed benefit situations. The Election Commission (EC) has set polling day for the Kuala Kubu Baru State by-election in Selangor on 11th May. EC Chairman Tan Sri Abdul Ghani Saleh said the nomination day and early voting day are on 27th April and 7th May respectively.
Tarikh-tarikh penting bagi PRK Dewan Negeri N06 Kuala Kubu Baru Selangor adalah seperti berikut. Tarikh RIT 4 April 2024 hari Khamis. Hari penamaan calon 27 April 2024 hari Sabtu. Hari mengundi awal 7 Mei 2024 hari Selasa. Hari mengundi pada 11 Mei 2024 hari Sabtu.
The state seat fell vacant following the death of its incumbent Lee Ki-hyong on 21st March. Lee, 58, who became the assembly person for Kuala Kubu Baru State constituency, which is under the Hulu Selangor parliamentary seat since 2013, passed away after battling cancer in the past few years. Commenting further, Tan Sri Abdul Ghani said that overall, the Kuala Kubu Baru by-election required an allocation of 2.5 million ringgit. According to him, a returning officer assisted by 3 assistant officers and 760 personnel will be appointed to handle the Kuala Kubu Baru by-election. In other news, a senior police officer suspected of being involved in corrupt activities around the nation's capital has been transferred to another department pending the full report of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC investigation. Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Dato' Rusdi Muhammad Isa said the DSP rank officer at the Kuala Lumpur Criminal Investigation Department CID has been released on MACC bail.
Belum ada keputusan, siasatan itu dijalankan oleh pihak SPRM. PDRM menunggu apa-apa juga keputusan daripada pihak SPRM lah. Dan pegawai ini pun kita sahkan telah pun kembali bertugas. Bukan di tempat, kita akan tempatkan di tempat sementara untuk menunggu apa-apa keputusan daripada siasatan pihak SPRM.
He said this at a press conference after witnessing the handover of duty ceremony for Wangsa Maju District Police Chief at the Wangsa Maju District Police Headquarters IPD today. The handover of duties involved the appointment of ACP Muhammad Lazim Ismail as a new Wangsa Maju District Police Chief. He's replacing Superintendent Ashari Abu Sama, who will be transferred to Alugajah IPD Melaka. Sources indicated the senior officer was arrested after being suspected of being involved in protecting illegal activities around the nation's capital. Cash amounting to more than 2 million ringgit were discovered when several premises belonging to the senior officer were checked. The Ministry of Communication is looking into enacting a music act to ensure that the field of art has its own act to safeguard the welfare of musicians. Minister Fahmi Faisal said since singer made up most of the content providers in broadcasting involving the medium of radio and television, there is a need to examine the relevant act to ensure the sustainability of the industry.
Oleh kerana bidang penyiaran itu adalah juga di bawah bidang kuasa kementerian, maka para penyanyi yang merupakan penyedia konten paling banyak untuk aspek penyiaran, terutama radio dan juga TV, maka kita lihat ada keperluan untuk meneliti aspek bukan hanya kebajikan tapi kemampanan industri itu melalui sebuah akta yang tersendiri.
Speaking after visiting veteran singer Zaitun Samion at the FINAS 2024 Madani Art Visit Program in Ampang, Fahmi said the ministry had started an engagement session with My Creative Ventures as the lead agency to get suggestions on the drafting of the Act. Fahmi added a program committee had also been formed to speed up the study process. He said he previously received a number of suggestions, but they may be improved with the involvement of the industry and academicians at various levels. Coming up next, LTAT announces 5% dividend. The government, through the National Finance Council, has agreed to improve grants and financial support for each state amounting to 8.9 billion ringgit this year. Prime Minister Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim said the federal government is committed to collaborating with all state governments to advance comprehensive national development. In a release statement, Dato' Sri Anwar, who is also the Finance Minister, expressed hope that the state governments can fully utilise this grant to guarantee the welfare of the people and promote the development of the state more sustainably. He said, based on the principles of humanity and Rahmatan Lil Alamin, which form the Madani economy framework, enhancing grants to state governments can directly benefit all Malaysians regardless of ethnicity, religion and geography. The allocation for 2024 was an increase compared to 8.3 billion ringgit last year. The Premier noted that the increase in grants involve all states and will be provided simultaneously. It comprised state road maintenance grants of 5.4 billion ringgit, grants based on the economic, infrastructure and welfare development, base grants of 400 million ringgit, and ecological fiscal transfer grants of 200 million ringgit. The Armed Forces Fund Board (LTAT) announced a dividend rate of 5% for the year 2023, involving a total payment of 485.08 million ringgit. Speaking to reporters after the LTAT 2023 dividend announcement in Kuala Lumpur today, Defence Minister Dato' Sri Muhammad Khalid Nordin said the amount of the payment was higher than 476.45 million ringgit for the year 2022.
Dan dividen-dividen ini telah dapat ditentukan kadarnya berasaskan kepada keuntungan dan juga reserve LTAT yang kukuh. di sebalik yang menyatakan bahawa keadaan itu tidak terdapat dalam LTAT. Dan pada masa yang sama, LTAT mampu untuk memainkan peranan bagi menyertai dan memajukan ekonomi negara melalui penyertaannya dalam pelbagai bidang.
Dr. Sri Muhammad Khalid said this marked the second consecutive year a 5% dividend was announced, which was a significant recovery from the lowest dividend recorded in 2018 at 2%. Meanwhile, commenting on the alleged financial crisis involving LTAT, he said it was an unfounded accusation. The collection of data via the central database hub Padu will help the government to improve its understanding of household well-being, even though the priority is to identify the eligible recipients of assistance programs as part of the initiative to move away from the blanket support. MIDF Research said the Padu Database will be used to create a new source of reference for the household balance sheet based on the declared income and expenses. In its thematic report today, MIDF Research said the eligibility criteria can also be refined by considering other information such as the size of the household and the existing financial commitment and burdens such as mortgages, personal loans and education loans. The tabulation of household based on localities and jobs will also provide a better understanding of the stress level according to income level as well as areas with differing costs of living and basic amenities. MIDF Research said Padu will also help the government to identify areas or jobs that have been underserved but require urgent attention. Despite some quarters raising concerns about information security, the research firm believes there is room for improvement in terms of depth and scope of data collection. Kenanga Investment Bank Berhad Kenanga IB expects the government to announce the 5G Dual Network Policy Directive in the second quarter of this year. The research house said this announcement is expected to clarify the final equity stakes for each telecommunication company in either entity or A or B. In a note issued today, Kenanga IB said these entities will be established as part of Malaysia's transition from the 5G single wholesale network model to the dual network model. It said Entity A would assume control of the existing first 5G network owned by Digital National Berhad DNB, while Entity B would develop the new second 5G network. Kenanga IB anticipated that 5G monetization would provide support to weak average revenue per user trends. Moving forward, given that mobile services providers are now required to pay 5G access charges, Kenanga IB believes they are exploring ways to monetize 5G. Kenanga IB posited that investors were less wary of 5G as monetization opportunities from enterprise and high net worth clients loom on the horizon. Moreover, it said investors are optimistic that earnings and dividends for telco players will remain intact given a milder and more accommodative regulatory environment. RHB Research is expecting Malaysia's gross domestic product GDP to remain at 4.6% year-on-year in 2024 versus the official projected range of 4 to 5%. The research house said the growth momentum is anticipated to pick up in the first half of this year, as suggested by its composite leading index for Malaysia. In a note released today, RHB Research said recent data indicates that domestic confidence has shown signs of improvement. Three key proxies, specifically higher manufacturing purchasing manager index, increased imports of capital and intermediate goods, and rising business confidence, suggest that manufacturers and businesses' optimism is up. Moving ahead, the research house said GDP growth would be underpinned by a turnaround in trade performance and robust domestic demand. On the downside risk, RHB Research said it recognised opposing factors where dampening effects may emanate from the reduced subsidies and region consumption tax measures, which kept consumer expenditure and disposable income from a wealth effect perspective. However, it said the impact would be cushioned by health labour demand conditions, continuation of social distance to targeted groups, and differing impacts across income groups. Proton Holdings Berhad achieved vehicle sales of 12,666 units in March, bringing its total sales to 39,150 for the first quarter of this year. Meanwhile, its export sales rose by 63% year-on-year. In a release statement today, the national automaker said its market share is estimated at 19.3%, the second highest among all automotive brands, adding that the total industry volume for the Malaysian automotive market is estimated to be at 202,492 units in the first quarter of this year. Proton EDA Chief Executive Officer Roslan Abdullah said the first quarter ended positively for Proton. With no external factors encouraging sales growth this year, he said the numbers achieved offer a more accurate reading of market demand. The automotive industry in Malaysia continues to be buoyant, he said, adding this evident by the overall growth in total industry volume. For the rest of the year, Proton will look for continued sales growth by working closely with its vendors to produce more units of its best-selling models while continuing to build export sales volume. Still ahead, ferry to Koh Tao catches fire, all passengers rescued. A fire broke out on a night ferry transporting passengers and cargo while heading to Koh Tao Resort from a pier in Surat Thani province on Thursday. The ferry carried approximately 97 Thai and foreign passengers and 11 crew members, totaling 108 individuals. The vessel set sail from mainland Surat Thani at 11 p.m. on Wednesday when was scheduled to arrive at the island on Thursday. The fire started in the ship's engine room and quickly spread across the vessel. At the time of the incident, the ship was about 4.82 kilometers off the coast of Koh Tao. Authorities and private ship operators successfully evacuated all passengers and crew members safely, although some suffered from smoke inhalation. The emergency rescue team promptly transported the affected individuals to nearby hospitals for medical attention. The fire was eventually brought under control by 8:20 a.m. Investigations are ongoing to determine the cause of the fire. A small group of 6 trapped miners were brought to safety on Thursday after being trapped following a major earthquake which rocked Taiwan. The men were brought out of the disaster area by helicopter, according to authorities on Thursday morning. A further 64 workers were still trapped in another quarry. The military has flown more than 400 kilograms of aid to them by helicopter, as reported by German news agency DPA. The number of people confirmed injured has risen to 1,050 and there is still no contact with around 50 missing people, according to official information. Around 100 people were still trapped in road tunnels, but authorities believe that their lives are not in danger. Authorities say the search for the trapped and missing people is focused on the area around the city of Hualien. The quake, which according to Taiwanese figures reached a magnitude of 7.2, caused severe damage there on Wednesday. As of Thursday morning, the authorities counted 314 aftershocks in the region in the wake of the severe earthquake. Coming up, hybrid EV maintenance courses to help young people become more competitive. Stay with us. The Ministry of Youth and Sports (KBS) is collaborating with the National Youth Institute of Higher Skills (IKTBN) in Dusun Tour to introduce hybrid and electric vehicle EV maintenance courses starting February 2024, aimed to help young people become more competitive in the EV sector. Minister Hannah Yeoh said the initial intake for the course will consist of 30 Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia SPM holders aged between 18 and 30 years old.
Pada tahun depan, kita sasarkan peningkatan sehingga 200 orang pelajar sepenuh masa akan dilatih di sini dan 2 lagi IKTBN iaitu di Cembung dan IKBN Citra dalam khusus EV. Manakala untuk khusus jangka pendek, kita ada Skills for Life. Sama juga untuk reskilling bidang EV, kita sasarkan 500 orang belia dan pekerja.
Hannah said this at a press conference following a ceremony to officiate the Youth and Sports Skills Training Institute, IKLBS, Technical and Vocational Education and Training TVET, as the pioneering institution for hybrid and EV courses at IKTBN Dusun Tour today. Jesse Ward, the import rider of Asia's best cycling team Terengganu Cycling Team TSG, pedalled his way to victory in the 155.9km stage 4 of the Tour of Thailand today. Ewart took the stage win in 3 hours, 38 minutes and 26 seconds with Thailand's Tanakan Chaya Sombat in second place and Dutchman Aiden van Engelen third. Ewart said the hot weather with the temperature soaring to 40 degrees Celsius was his biggest challenge on day 4 of the tour.
It feels hot. I'm cooked. Bit of pork in me. That was a hard, hot day. We rode well as a team. We missed the break. We chased it back. Mate, it's hot. The rest is a blur, and then we won.
He said this via a video clip shared with the media today. TSG's charge in Thailand is led by 5 other riders, including Kizi Yi, Irwandi Lakasek, Aiman Chahyadi, Anatoly Budiak, and Muhammad Nur Aiman Rosli, who is clinched stage 2 of the Tour of Thailand on Tuesday. Formula One owner Liberty Media's takeover of Moto GP rights holders Dorna will not impact Sepang International Circuit SIC hosting of the annual Moto GP. According to SIC Chief Executive Officer Azan Shariman Hanif, the circuit management is still liaising with Dorna for the Moto GP contract signed by both parties until the year 2026.
Itu salah satu faktor yang menariklah takeover Liberty Media pada MotoGP. Kita dapat nampak perubahan dari segi Formula One, dapat melonjak kepada apa yang kita nampak sekarang di Formula One, dan insyaAllah dengan adanya Liberty Media ni kita berharap marketing strateginya mungkin lebih menariklah di masa yang akan datang.
Azan added if there are changes, he believes it will be positive for motorsports. Met by reporters, he also said that ticket sales for this year's Malaysian GP are doing well. In a statement, MotoGP said Liberty Media will acquire an approximately 86% stake in a deal worth around $4.5 billion, while Dorna, based in Spain, retains a 14% equity stake in the business. The acquisition is expected to be completed by the end of the year, pending regulatory approvals. 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel has suggested he could return to Formula One following talks with Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff. Mercedes are in search of a new driver after Lewis Hamilton announced in February he was leaving the team for Ferrari following 11 years with the Silver Arrows. Vettel won his 4 World Championship titles with Red Bull from 2010 to 2013. He retired from Formula One at the end of the 2022 season after 6 years at Ferrari and 2 with Aston Martin. However, since retired after 16 seasons in F1, he has been regularly linked with a possible return to the grid. He has now hinted at a return to Grand Prix racing following talks with Wolff and several other team bosses. Vettel told Sky Sports News on Wednesday that he was taken back by Hamilton's decision to leave Mercedes for Ferrari after winning 6 World Championships with the German giants. Mercedes have a 2024 seat to fill following Hamilton's decision to join Ferrari, while Red Bull, the team Vettel won his 4 drivers' titles with, could also have a vacancy for Sergio Perez's contract expiring. Arsenal coasted to a 2-0 win over struggling Luton on Wednesday to dislodge Liverpool from the top of the Premier League table, once again edging ahead in a trailing 3-way title tussle. The result leaves the Gunners to 68 points, 1 ahead of Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, who host bottom side Sheffield United on Thursday. Mikel Arteta's men, with top scorer Bukayo Saka absent, dominated possession in the opening stages at the Emirates but created few clear-cut openings in front of an expectant crowd. But they broke the deadlock in the 24th minute, courtesy of a sweet left-footed strike by captain Martin Odegaard. Arsenal doubled their lead in the 44th minute thanks to an own goal from Luton defender Daiki Hashioka, who turned into his own net following more good work down the left by Smith Rowe. The bulk of the second half was flat, although Luton came into the game more, probing for an opening to haul themselves back into the contest. The Gunners, who have not been crowned English champions since 2004, set the pace for the bulk of last season before flagging as the finishing line approached. In another match, Phil Foden shone in the absence of Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne as the England international's hat-trick handed Manchester City a thumping 4-1 win over Aston Villa. The champions responded emphatically to questions over their ability to win the biggest games to move to within 1 point of leaders Arsenal at the top of the Premier League. Jeremy Doku was the creator for the opener as he skipped past Lucas Digne and his cross was swept high past Villa's stand-in goalkeeper Robin Olsen by Rodri. John Duran showed his an able deputy to Ollie Watkins as the Colombians swept home a fine equaliser after exchanging a 1-2 with Morgan Rogers. City restored their lead just before half-time to calm the rising tension among the Etihad crowd thanks to Foden's first of the night. His free kick sneaked through a hole in the Villa wall. City's number 2 keeper Stefan Ortega made a vital save after the break to deny Villa levelling for a second time through Douglas Luiz. Foden made the point save when he swept in Rodri's pass off the inside of the post. And he completed his hat-trick in style by blasting into the top corner from outside the box. That's it from us this evening. In our top story, Anwar Prabowo discussed next direction in bilateral relations. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. RTM, teman setia anda.